This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
And a superb goal from Barrett. Oh, the keeper saves it, and there's McGregor. There's a goal. Paul McGregor.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Well, that's what I wanted to see Robertson do. Robertson getting his shot in, and a goal! Robertson!
Hello and welcome to this episode of Red Side of the Trent as we look ahead to our next Europa League game, which sees Malmo, old foes, visit the City Ground on Thursday night. I'm delighted to be joined on this one by pod founders Lee Clark and Christian Brown. Lee, start with yourself. You good, mate?
Yeah, all good. Still on cloud nine after Saturday's game, to be honest. Can't stop smiling.
Cool. Christian, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I'll go there, mate. Yeah, much like Lee, still sort of reveling in Saturdays, especially after United lost last night as well, where we record this, which makes it, never a bad weekend with Liverpool and United both lose. So
yeah, Everton have gone above Liverpool, haven't they? Which I saw some Everton stuff on Twitter. They'll be delighted with that. We'll revel in Saturday's result a tiny bit longer then, before we do look ahead to the visit of Malmo on Thursday. Lee, you were at the game on Saturday, so just talk us through your day, mate.
Yeah, so couldn't have been any more perfect, really. So I was at an 18th birthday party in nearby Haydock, so decided to chance my arm with the ballot, thinking, well, it'd be nice to go to the game while I'm up that way. I think I'm about 20 miles away in that neck of the woods. So, yeah, got fortunate, got tickets. Probably helped with the fact that when the tickets went on sale for Liverpool, I think Andrew might have still just about been in charge, clinging on to his job. So dare I say, not many actually went into it. So that was probably why I was quite fortuitous. Went up, spent some time with the family in the morning, got the train, sat with loads of Liverpool fans on the train. They were clearly buzzing for the game, thinking they were going to absolutely roll us over, as some Forest fans probably did, to be fair. But yeah, what happened later on in the day was just ridiculous, wasn't it, really? Everything about the day was amazing. Just, I don't know, I don't go away as much as perhaps I'd like to these days, just with other commitments and that sort of stuff. And you hear all sorts of stuff that lots of tourists might be getting tickets and perhaps people who shouldn't deserve to go. And is the atmosphere going to be toxic if we go behind? Well, obviously we didn't have to discover that at the weekend because we didn't go behind. But yeah, it was just a really good atmosphere. Laughs aplenty, and obviously the football and the performance was good as well. So, yeah, it was just one of those away days that I think everyone dreamed of when we got promoted, to be honest.
Where would you put that in terms of away games you've been to as a Forest fan? Would that be
Ever.
right at the top? Yeah, ever?
Top. Yeah,
Top.
Bon on.
Did you go to the Osborne derby?
I did. Yeah, it eclipses that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just because this is different, isn't it? I'm not going to be one of the fans that says we don't care about Derby anymore. Of course we do, but we won't care about them again now until they're in the same league as us. That's rivalry for you.
Yeah,
that Osborne derby was amazing, and scoring in the last minute to beat them when we were particularly poor at the time. Of course, it's a different sort of moment, but I think seeing us score 3 goals at Liverpool, especially given some of the rubbish that I've had to put up with, from much like the Man United situation that I said when we beat them last year twice, the rubbish you have to put up with from the plastic Liverpool fans who wouldn't point to Liverpool on a map, they get it wrong. Never seen Anfield, that sort of stuff. It's mind numbing. It's just, yeah. So yeah, seeing us score 3 against the reigning champions, who, yeah, I know they're in poor form, but yeah, I think it's better than the Derby game for me.
Yeah, to say, as most successful manager in Brian Clough never even won there, and now we've won back-to-back seasons, we've won twice. Christian, unfortunately you didn't make the trip, but revelled in it all weekend like the rest of us. So yeah, what did you make of the whole performance? Obviously the result was incredible. What did you make of the performance? And just give us your take, mate.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, it's it's just so surreal, isn't it? I mean, to win at Anfield, full stop, is incredibly hard. It's incredibly difficult. I know we did it last season, but like the time before that was in the 60s. Like it's not something you rock up and do. Like I remember saying before at the time, like you can generally count on one hand the games Liverpool lost at home this decade, really, in the league. Two of them to us now, but it's incredibly difficult to do that as is. But to do it against 12 men as well, because I still have severe reservations over that second goal. Well, I mean, second goal, disallowed goal. Like,
He shouldn't have
if it were up to me, and I'm sure Lee might chime in. If it were up to me, that referee, he's been sent back to non-league. That's borderline match fixing what he's done there. But again, we won't go into that. To overcome all those elements, where it would have been so easy to fold and crumble, and when you're playing 12 men, to still win is even more impressive. To win 3-0 despite all of that. That's I agree with Lee. That's top of the pile. Mate. You won't see a better Forest result than that potentially ever. That's reigning Premier League champions at Anfield's. Yeah, that was pretty special.
They are 12, fair enough. Yeah, just to quickly touch, just with your refereeing head on, Lee. Just touch on them on the both. Because I'm sure there isn't any Liverpool fans listening to this pod, but we'll be fair. Touch on the two goals. So the first one, obviously, Ndoye is slightly in offside position, but Alisson's got a clear view of that goal, and he's not going to save that, is he? So I actually hold my hands up to the referee then and say, actually, some common sense has been applied to that, and the goal is rightfully given. The second, which was ruled out, is he's hit Jesus on this area, shoulder / chest / upper arm area. I mean, what did you make of that disallowed goal?
Well, kind of agree with Christian. I don't personally actually blame the referee. I thought the assistants were poor all afternoon. We actually said going up, and this is being brutally honest and not in any way kind of suggesting anything, but it was a bad time to play Liverpool on the basis that they felt they'd been absolutely robbed at Man City the game previously. And typically what happens when that happens, obviously because that's two Big Six teams, typically what happens when said Big Six team that's been unfortunate plays a non-Big Six team, they get everything. And I said, I can just see what's going to happen today. There's going to be all sorts of situations. We're going to see VAR flashing up on the big screen every 5 minutes for checks on little things to benefit them. I actually thought all the 50-50s were given the way of Liverpool by the assistants. I thought the ref actually gave us quite a lot. There was one really good piece of refereeing where Gravenberch felt a bit of something in his defensive third, decided to go down and just pick up the ball. I think most refs in the Prem probably would have just said, yeah, it's Liverpool, sorry, I give them a defensive free kick. Andy Madlib gave us a free kick and booked Gravenberch for it. So, yeah, there was little moments like that. I actually think I can't see how the ref would have given the second one because he can't possibly see. He must have had some information from the assistant, I think. And then what he's done is he's probably placed a bit too much trust in his assistant who's miles away, when in reality what Madlib probably should have done is, in that situation, because he's took it down and put it in the net, I think he probably should give benefit of the doubt to the attacking team there and then say, because if it goes to the attacking team and it gets checked, it'll be the same situation. There was inconclusive evidence to suggest that Madley had got his on-field decision wrong. If he just lets it play out, we'd get the goal because, again, they'd still be the same camera angles. So what I would say is two things. I'm not going to be that sort of fan that when we win 3-0, I'm going to bash refs. The other thing is, I think that one game and those two situations highlights that there's far too many grey areas with a lot of the laws at the minute. And that's what's making people kind of become disillusioned with football in general, I think. I think the first one, the angle that saves us is the one where you see when it leaves Murillo's boot and Alisson's got a clear look at what he's doing. Where I can see where Liverpool fans are a little bit annoyed, not that I want to give them too much sympathy because it's Liverpool and they're fans and they've given me rubbish for years. But it goes into the corner of the net. It's the side netting. No keeper's saving that. And I think, like you've just said, Reece, common sense has applied there. Whether law doesn't constitute common sense, we know that. But No one wants to see that goal disallowed because it's impacted the keeper. The one against City that Liverpool had, Andy Robertson ducks under the ball. That has to be impacted because if he stands still, the ball hits him.
I must say on that though, that Donnarumma isn't going to save that regardless.
He's not.
Because he
I do agree,
all
but
his
I just
weight.
think
That's what I'm saying about the common sense element.
Yeah, I just think they're slightly different. But what I would say is the law as it's written, had it been disallowed, we probably wouldn't have had too many gripes. But Liverpool fans who keep plastering bloody analysis and bits and pieces with circles written around people and lines going towards the corner of the net, are they completely forgetting that we had a perfectly good goal disallowed like 4 minutes later? I mean, if they'd lost 1-0, when we lost 1-0 in the 99th minute from a bad decision that Howard Webb said was wrong, we got told to suck it up and play to the whistle. So we scored 3. We could have scored 6. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, there's no complaints about the result, isn't there? I mean, like I said, from my perspective, I get their frustrations from last week because I thought that goal should have probably been allowed. But like you said, it's because Robertson moves. But I'm like the common sense for me is Donnarumma has shifted all his weight onto his right foot. He isn't going to get back across. So I can see their frustrations. But the difference with ours is that Endor's not moved. Alisson ain't going to save that anyway. So unfortunately, yeah, they're going to have to suck it up, as you nicely put it. Anything else to add on that, Christian?
I actually agreed with what you said on Saturday's pod. The referee bowled it. I know obviously I take Lee's point, but if you can't see it, you shouldn't give it. He's given it. So like you can't.
Well, I must
see
add
it
his team of officials. If he's been told by a linesman, he should not be, because they cannot be certain that's his arm. Yeah, and it's just 7 seconds
you got
to make a
that.
decision.
It's not like it's at a level where a camera can't check it. He's bottled it. He's seen Van Dijk throw his arm up and say it's handball. He's gone, okay, actually, yeah, maybe it is. It's shocking officiating.
What
it wouldn't happen anywhere else. And then you know full well if it was the other way around, if that's Mo Salah doing that at the other end to make it 1-0 to Forest, that linesman doesn't say a single word. Not a single word.
No, I agree.
What I would say, just to finish on that point, is I tend to think that the whole process of VAR being able to get involved needs to change there. I think in that situation, if they're saying they can't go against his decision because there's inconclusive evidence, I think they should send the ref to have another look and say, look, we can't see it.
Didn't do that.
We've got an angle that we think you might make a different opinion on. And that angle where it clearly hits above his sleeve, we all get told about the sleeve. Anything above the sleeve is fine. I think he would have changed his mind. I think he would have changed his decision on that because it was clearly wrong.
I must say the final point as well I make on it is that, you know, the pictures, what we got shown, they were poor, weren't they? Poor quality. I mean, we've got all these cameras and that is the best picture and angle they can come up with. I just find that.
It would have been in like 24K. I don't even existed the other way around. You know, for we like beyond HD, everything. With us, I've just shown a pixelated.
We would have seen the fibre of his shirt if it was but we will move on to obviously Malmo on Thursday night. So, you know, most Forest fans will be familiar with them having played us in the European Cup final. We also played them again in the mid-90s in UEFA Cup, which we actually lost to them in Sweden, but won 1-0 at home with Brian Roy getting the winner. And we actually went through that time away goals. I think that was the first round as well of UEFA Cup. So, yeah, there's somewhat of kind of a fixing going on whenever Forest seem to get in European competitions. It's Malmo. So, yeah, just some stats on them. So they last played now 2.5 weeks ago. So the Allsvenskan, it is the Swedish league, that's a summer league, so it finishes. So it is quite weird that their season's done and they're still having to play Europa League games. But they actually didn't do very well last year, so they finished 6th. And it was Mjällby who actually were the shock winners. I'm not sure if any of you guys seen on Twitter, but they're from like a very, very small town. And that was a real shock that they won the league. So for a team like Malmo finishing 6th in that league, I'm sure that'll be a disappointing season. Yeah.
It's like, I don't think
for them.
Give it like a UK comparison, it'd be like, I don't know, like Torquay win the league or something stupid. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so their Europa League record so far, so they've lost 2-1 to Ludogorets of Bulgaria at home. They've then lost to Victoria Pilsen of Czechia, as it's called now, away. Their only sole point has come at home to Dinamo Zagreb of Croatia with Scott McKenna in their ranks, I believe. And then last time out, they lost at home again to Greek side Panathinaikos. So the record is, let's be honest, appalling so far. 1 point from their 4 games. Just a few familiar faces. So Robin Olsen, ex-Villa goalkeeper, if you remember him. Obviously, we all remember Pontus Jansson, ex-Leeds and Brentford. We've also got Marcus Olsen. So if you remember, his brother scored the winner for Derby against us in a 1-0.
What's the average age of their squad?
So he's 37, Marcus
Wow.
Olsen. So he used to play for Blackburn, Swansea and Norwich, I believe. And they've also got, I'm going to say this right, Haksabanovic, who's ex-Stoke and Celtic. And finally, their striker, Daniel Gudjohnsen, is son of former Chelsea player Ida Gudjohnsen. So, some familiar faces in there. But their average age is interesting. Quite a bit of a dad's army kind of side, I guess. But with Gudjohnsen's son up top, his dad does not play for them. So after reading a few of them facts out, Lee, what's your kind of thoughts on them and the game ahead on Thursday?
Well, I mean, I'd already done a little bit of digging anyway, but I think it's after Saturday's result and obviously having started pretty well under Dyche, I do think it's a game we'll probably win. We'll come on to it because we've both given you teams, but I'm actually torn on what sort of team I'd play. I think because of how we're situated in that group stage, I think I'd rather get the game won. I know we've got a big game Sunday and the Premier League is still the priority, but I think what you've got to take into consideration a little bit is that West Ham have got Liverpool at the weekend. Leeds have got City.
That's a win for them, then.
And I'm not saying you focus on other teams, but if we were still in the relegation zone, I'd want a similar team to Sturm Graz. But now we're not. I think now we're looking up. I think I'd try and get a settled 11 together a little bit more. Get the game won, and then look to maybe make changes, hopefully at half time, because I think it's one of them games based on what you've just said about, I didn't know that about this season and I'm not playing for 2.5 weeks. So I think an early goal against a team that's not really been playing could make the hallmark of a heavy win, I suppose.
Yeah, so their last game in the Allsvenskan was the 9th of November against GAIS. I don't know if it's pronounced Geis or, well, I'm going to go with that anyway. Same to you, Christian, after obviously them little facts and stats from myself, because this is my element of talking about random teams in European countries. What do you make of the game Thursday?
I again agreed with what you said on Saturday. We have to win it. It has to be a win. I think the Europa League situation is not the best. Obviously had Morgan score that penalty in Austria, probably looks a lot rosier, but despite that, I must slightly disagree with Lee. I do think that if Forest rang the changes, there is still going to be more than enough there to beat these. I think you're talking players like Cali Mwendo, for example, costs probably more than the entire team put together. And also ahead of a run we got shortly. We've got 3 or 4 back-to-back 2-game weeks. So we've got obviously this week got Malmo and Brighton. Next week's Wolves and Everton. Then I'm pretty sure is it Utrecht and Spurs? Is that right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got 3 in a row. So you can't play the same team 6 games in a row. We're going to need to see those other players that we've signed, and more importantly, when they're going to be called upon, because they will be called upon on a run like this. They're going to need to be fit. They're going to need to be sharp, and the only way to get sharpness and fitness is by playing games. So I would like to see us make some changes. Obviously, I wouldn't go completely wholesale, make 11. But again, some of these necessities, Williams has to play really because there isn't anyone else to play at left back, for example. You probably still say Milenkovic has to play really. I guess you could play Bolly, but it's a risky one. So but it's more players like it's a good chance to get some minutes into Hudson-Odoi ahead of this run. To keep Dandoy quite sharp, I think. give Dominguez a run in the middle, I think, get Yates up to speed again. Now he's been out the team for a few games. Get McAtee and Callum Wend up to speed. I think this is a perfect opportunity for it, really. It's a real shame Hutchinson isn't involved in the squad because I think this would be a perfect game for him. And also, it's a shame Back was injured because I think this would have been a really good one for him to get involved with as well.
He's back in training now, isn't he? I think back.
Okay, well, it'd be nice if he comes off the bench for half hour or
Yeah,
so. Obviously,
that would be good. Yeah,
that would be good. But yeah, I think we've got more than enough in the tank to make some changes and beat these. But just got to go and prove it, haven't we?
Yeah. Cause just touching on the injuries, Forest are very private about the injuries. Apart from Olarena, we don't really know what's actually up with Wood and Backwell. And I'm trying to think. Obviously, Douglas Luiz, we kind of half know, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's because we saw it. Yeah. But yeah, not really sure about the others. But something I put on our Twitter page. So if you are kind of wondering where we kind of sit in Europa League. League stage, isn't it now? We are at the minute in that playoff bracket, but in terms of if we're going on last season, what we'd need to get to the next stage, etc. So last season, 15 points would have guaranteed a top 8 place and avoiding that two-legged playoff. So that would mean we'd need 10 points from 12 in our remaining 4 games. So that would be probably to beat Utrecht, Ferencváros, Malmo, draw with Braga, for example. To guarantee a spot from 9th to 24th in the playoffs, so that would be 2 extra games, but would mean an extra trip, I guess, if we was to get through. 11 points last season would guarantee that, so that means we'd need 6 points from 12 in our remaining 4 games. I mean, if we wasn't to achieve that, that would be an absolute disaster, wouldn't it, really? I mean, no disrespect to Malmo, but are you going to get more of a home banker than what you're kind of going to be playing on Thursday night, you'd think? So that should then take you down to 3 points. I know it's jinx and things. I'm touching wood, but you know what I mean. But I mean, that would then take it down to 3 points from 9. I mean, FC Utrecht, I think I've only got 1 point so far. I believe they've got actually a team we've played already this week. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, so they've got Betis away. I knew that it was some. So you'd expect Betis to beat them, so they're likely going to probably still be on a point as well. So yeah, hopefully we can put some points on the board, starting with obviously Malmo on Thursday. So I'm going to do your team. So just bear with me 1 minute while I do some editing. This is usually Adam's job, isn't it? So. Right, so we'll do yours first, Lee, and I'll read it out for the audio listeners. So Lee's team is a 4-2-3-1. For the video listeners, you can see Sean Dyche, Stone Cold Steve Austin in the top right. So Lee's team, 4-2-3-1, and Lee's team is Sells in goal, a back four of Abbott right back, Milenkovic, Morato, and Williams at left back. Anderson and Dominguez in the middle, Dan Ndoye on the right, Hudson-Odoi on the left, Gibbs White as your captain through the middle with Callum Owendo up top. So just talk us through your team, Lee. What made you go with that team?
Yeah, just like I said, I'd rather go strong, get it won, get them points, get back in the mix for a top 8 berth, and then rest players. I think there's still players there getting minutes. Dominguez getting more minutes, resting Murillo. The more I think about it, I'm not sure if I'd rest Milenkovic, but either or, I'm not too fussed. I think just Morato because he slots into that left side a little bit better, doesn't he? I suppose.
He's played well in Europa League, Morato, for me.
Yeah, he's done a job in the Premier League this year. To be fair, for me, no problems with him playing. Callum Wendo, it'd be nice to see him get a goal, whether it be a tap in or a piece of magic. Again, Hudson-Odoi needs minutes, doesn't he? Just coming back from injury. And obviously Abbott, I think he probably deserves a start just because of how he played in his little cameo at Graz. So, yeah, I mean, I was torn with making more changes, but I don't know. I just think winning breeds confidence. And I think a lot of players are starting to hit their straps a little bit. So, yeah, that's what I go with.
Yeah, because only 3 changes for you. I know Dominguez is switching positions, so you'd be bringing in Hudson-Odoi, Callum Owendo, and Morato, which would be for Murillo, Sangare, and Abbott as well. Yeah, Abbott for Savona, and then Callum Owendo obviously for Jesus. So 4 changes.
It's like I'd be off. I don't know if I'd toy with bringing McAtee in, but I don't know. I don't really, like I say, I'd just rather get the game won. I'd rather get the game won rather having situations like we had in Graz where players looked a bit off colour. So, yeah, that's just
It'd be nice to be like, after the hour, we'll say 2-0 up and in control of the game, wouldn't it? I guess 2-3-0 up in control of the game, and thinking actually we can, even at half time maybe, but yeah, we can't count as chickens with it being Forest. So bring Christian's team up. Is that Christian's team? Oh, have I put the?
That's Lee's team.
Oh God, I think I've saved. To just bear me one. I know it's going to be too quick to change it. I'll run through your team, Christian. So it was John in goal, Wante, Abbott, Milenkovic, Morato, Williams. You had Yates and Dominguez in the middle.
Yep.
Ndoye, McAtee, Hudson-Odoi, and Kanamawendo.
That's it. Yeah.
So a bit different to these. So obviously you've gone for John in goal instead of Sells.
Yep.
Yates ahead of Anderson.
Yeah.
And then McAtee ahead of Gibbs White. So just explain your teammate as well.
Yeah, I still don't feel like it's weird. He's played 2 games, but I still don't feel like I've not seen anything out of Big John yet. So apart from we've seen him make a couple of saves, that's about it. Again, much more pleased with how Sells is playing, but again, I just think this is a sort of game you sort of play a sub-keeper in just to sort of keep him on his toes, sort of thing. Savona, I don't want him to burn out too quickly. I know obviously he played 30 odd games last year for Juventus, but if you look at minutes he played, very similar to how Anderson was when he first came to Forest, and that he for about 1,500 minutes or so like that. So you don't want him being burnt out. Again, a good chance to play Abbott as well. Morato for Murillo, again, no qualms about playing Morato whatsoever. Full trust in the bloke. That hasn't let us down at all this season. I put a foot wrong, really, apart from that 20-minute spell at left back when Ange put him there against Arsenal, which is just moronic. But when he's played centre half, he's been very solid this season, good in the ball. He's played very well. So I'd like to see him get a go. Obviously, Williams has to play because there isn't another left back to play. To be honest, even if Zinchenko was fit, I still want Williams to play. In midfield, again, any chance you can get to rest Anderson, I think, is probably going to be a good one. Have him on the bench in case he's needed. But I think, Yates and Dominguez should be enough to get a job done there. Dominguez in the essential midfield role as well, which would be quite nice to see, hopefully. Then, again, Hudson-Odoi, get him off speed again. Hope a good game for him to start in with Dan Doyle the other side. McAtee and Kanamawendo as well. That's £55 million worth of player there. We've got to start seeing what they're capable of. I know, obviously, it's not a linear thing with football. It can take others longer, whatever else. But we're starting to see it from other players now. We haven't really seen it from them.
I must say, McAtee's not really played in his actual.
That's what I mean. They haven't really had a chance, or McAtee's played on the wing, for example. So it'd be quite nice to see them from the off in their starting positions. Just try and get some confidence into them. I noticed obviously there's an insider training video the other day where Kanamawendo was scoring goals, and obviously after the bench cam for Leeds, he looks like a very desolate figure almost at times. So it was quite nice to see that they're all sort of rallying around him, sort of thing. It'd be really nice if we could get them off the mark, or McAtee gets an assist and Kanamawendo scores. We're all happy. That team should be enough to beat Malmo. I'm sorry. And then you're looking ahead to Brighton the weekend and a chance to, with the fixtures Leeds mentions, real chance to put us 5 points clear or so of danger. And then suddenly, all this talk about Forest are going down and whatever else, it disappears pretty quickly, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, can I get a prediction for you? First, start with you, Lee, for the score for Malmo.
I do think we'll win. I think it'll be 3-0. I touch wood. I don't think they'll score. You've given me a lot of confidence telling me about this league situation that they've got ongoing. So I'll go 3-0. I think it'll be comfortable.
So that means we'll be fresh. Christian, what about you?
It's going to be an interesting test, isn't it? Because they will just park everyone behind the ball. I think that's safe to assume they're going to shove everyone behind the ball. So it's going to be for Forest to fit that lock. And, as we've seen this season, or last season especially, we have struggled with that. Look at the West Ham game this season, for example. They shoved everyone behind the ball, offered nothing, couldn't break them down. They made us pay for it. Having said that, though, I think we will have too much for them. I think even the Graz game, for example, with this disjointed sides, We should have been 3-0 up at half time. I
Yeah,
don't know
agree.
we are. So if you replicate that performance against a team sitting in like Graz's nature, for example, Malmo probably aren't as good as Graz either.
No.
You'd think Forest would be pretty comfortable. He won't be that way because it's Forest. But I'll go 2-0. I think it'll be a very controlled 2-0 game where we don't really we'll probably have like 65% of the ball, something silly. But yeah.
Yeah, that'd do nicely. Right, moving on then, we're going to do a little bit of a fun segment before we just wrap up with a couple of quick questions. So this is a quiz. I did it with Adam and Mason. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. There used to be a quiz on BBC One with Nick Knowles called Who Dares Wins, where you so they give you a subject, and so it's let's say top 20 Premier League goal scorers of all time, and you'd then bid how many you could name. So you might say 6, Lee. Christian might say 7. You might say, actually, I don't know 7, so I want you to name them. But if you get one wrong, then the point goes to the other person. So I've got 3 questions for you. So obviously there'll be a winner either way. So so the question 1 is players that have played for Nottingham Forest from Nordic countries. So obviously we're playing Malmo, who are from Sweden. You've also got Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Denmark in there. Forest have never had any players from the Faroe Islands or Greenland, so I could take them out for you. So there's 16 available. So Christian, if you want to start the bidding, so players who play for Forest from Sweden, Finland, Iceland,
Just
Norway,
say the countries
Denmark.
again that are available, Reese.
Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Denmark.
Okay.
I'm going to come straight out of worst bets from The Simpsons. I'll go for about 6.
6. Lee, do you think you can name any more than 6?
No, name them.
Name them, okay. Christian, so 6 players. So Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. So you've got 16 to choose from.
Okay, so Alanga, Bentner.
Correct. Yeah, just bear with me 1 minute while I tick them off. So that's 2, yeah.
So Hjelder.
John Ole Fjelde, yeah, Norwegian. 3.
Rune Pedersen.
Rune Pedersen, Danish, 4.
God, now it's going to get tough, isn't it? Oh,
some obvious ones on there.
You've said 2 that I wouldn't have said, but you've not said.
Thomas Lamb, our free scoring
Thomas
centre.
Lamb, yeah, as only Finland player from Finland.
I need to get one more.
Defend. One more. There's plenty, as well.
Oh, jeez. It's probably one of those that, like, when I come back and look at it, I think, oh yeah, what about him?
I'll read them out after with the ones we've not got.
Well, the countries against, we've got Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark.
Finland you've had, because that's Thomas Lamb's the only one. So you've got Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Iceland.
Ready to steal in.
Was Mikkel Beck from those countries?
He was Danish, correct. So well done. So Christian, any more you can name, Lee? Do you think?
Alex Milosevic.
Milosevic, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go 5.
There's a couple of obvious
5, I might have pushed 6.
I'd say there's 3 obvious ones in there, personally, still. Do you want me to name them?
Yeah, go on.
I can't think on the spot.
So your other player from Sweden is Jesper Mattsson, who played in the late 90s, if you remember him. Yeah. The obvious Danish one, Philippe Zinchenagel.
Oh, yeah, Zinchenagel.
Bohinen is an obvious one for Norway, correct. Stale Stensas, who again, late 90s. Alf-Inge Haaland.
Of course,
and then we've got 2 players I've not heard of who I think played in the 80s, Oswald and Einar Jan As. Sorry if I've pronounced them wrong. And then your Icelandic ones is Toggi Oligson and Brynjar Gunnarsson.
Oh, Christ. Yeah.
Who was signed with Michael Stewart and Danny Sonner after we'd got in the playoffs. So yeah, that's well done to you, Christian. So that means you're 1-0 up. So I'll offer it to you first this time, Lee. So question 2. So this is last time out the team, 16 players against Malmo from 1995. So you've got 16 players to get. So if you start the bidding.
If I say a number and Christian goes higher, can I go back and revisit that number?
Yes. Yeah, it's an auction basically.
Right, okay. 9.
9. Christian.
I don't know if I count. I was 2 to name them.
So name
Was
them.
the last
Okay,
time
so
out the home game or the away game, by the way? Not that it
the
makes much
home
difference.
game,
But...
the home game, and I gave you a clue because I told you the goal scorer earlier. So you've got 16 to name from, so 9 to do it then. But if you get one wrong, Christian steals a point.
Right, okay. Does he have to come up with a name to steal the point, or does he just automatically get it?
No, he automatically gets it.
Right, okay. No problem. Right, 9. Crosley.
Correct.
What happens if I guess incorrectly? Do I automatically lose?
You automatically lose. So think about your players.
Okay. Steve Chettle.
Steve Chettle, yeah, 2.
Colin Cooper.
Correct, 3.
Stuart Pearce.
Correct, 4.
Let's bypass the midfield. Des Little.
Des Little, 5. Yeah, that's your back 5. The keeper. So 4 more to get. And you can have, you've got subs as well, 5 subs.
Yeah. Jason Lee
is correct.
Brian Roy.
Yeah, is what I told you earlier because you got the winner. 2 more. So you got 4 starting.
I knew the midfielders would kill me.
They're all starters.
Oh. Steve Stone.
Correct. 8.
Did the other one play? I'm going to have to say it because I'm really uncertain on the midfielders. I'll go for Wone.
Correct. Well done.
Can I guess the midfielders? Was David Phillips one of the midfielders?
No, he wasn't in the squad. So that
Scott
would have been
Gemmell?
wrong. Scott Gemmell was in the squad, but he was on the bench.
Yeah, I was torn with those 2.
So you've got 2 more midfielders.
Nah, I'm not sure who would have been.
Subs. Do you want me to tell you? Or Christian, you got any ideas?
No, mate, no. Was Bohinen had gone by that point? Anything in Blackburn?
Bohinen was in there, yeah, correct.
Team,
yeah. And then you've got 1 more starting midfielder, and then you've got 4 subs. The subs are tough, to be fair.
Was Paul McGregor one? Was that being mentioned?
Paul McGregor was on the bench, correct. I'd say there's a possibility you'd get 1 more sub. You should get the midfielder, personally.
Mine's gone blank with the midfielder.
So the other midfielder is, God bless him, Chris Bart-Williams. And then the bench. So if you get the goalkeeping sub, then I'll buy you
Alan
5.
Fettis.
Wrong.
Nah, don't know.
Bobby Clark was the goalkeeping sub. Or Richard Clark, one of the 2. I can't remember. And then you've got Salenzi and Carl Tyler. They're the other 2 subs.
Wow.
So it's 1-1. So that takes us nicely into a tie break, and we're going to come away from the European bits. It's Brighton on Sunday at the City Ground. I'm not going to do a team from when we beat them in the Premier League, because I think you could guess when we beat them 3-1 first season back. So the last time we beat them in the Championship was a season we stayed up on the last day in 2017.
Yeah,
so you've got 18 players to name. So can you start the bidding, Christian, of players to name from a 3-0 win against Chris Hughton's Brighton in the 16-17 Championship season, which we stayed up on the last day against Ipswich, obviously.
I'll go 10.
10? Good start. Lee, any more than 10?
So it's the Forest team that beat Brighton 3-0?
Yeah, so you've got your 11 starters and your 8 subs. Sorry, 7 subs, my apologies.
What have you said, Christian?
10.
10.
I think the goalkeeper was Richard Clark. I think Bobby Clark was an ex-Liverpool player. But it was definitely Clark. Yeah, so you're going to go. Remember as well, if he gets 1 wrong, then he's out and you win.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna not risk it. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna let you name 10.
Okay.
I think I could guess 11 from that era, but it's just if they played.
Okay, yeah. So you've got 18 to go at, Christian.
Okay, well,
let's see. So you've got to get to 10.
Okay, so Zach Clough and Ben Osborne scored that day.
Correct. So that's 2. Clough actually started on the bench.
Did he?
God, come on.
I remember
Osborne did start then.
Jamie Ward played quite well that game, which is a rarity.
He did.
He was then.
That's
That
3.
era, we would have Smith in goal.
Correct. 4.
Eric Lehigh.
Correct. 5. There's some interesting names in here, I must say, especially on the bench. That's 5. So you're halfway.
That was the year we stayed up, weren't it? We were talking
Correct.
about.
Yeah.
Did that absolute clown Carriol play?
He was on the bench, so 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember him being. Yeah, he probably dropped off that Cardiff debacle.
I'll try and not remember this era.
Apologies if Mustafa Carriol's listening to the show.
Oh, that's true. That's a disgraceful performance that day. He'd have been centre half, wouldn't he? Danny Fox.
Danny Fox, correct. 7.
I
would like to be computer savvy enough to put it up, and then I could click stuff. I don't know how you do that. Probably have to ask Adam.
I don't know if he's injured
3
or not.
more.
Chris Cohen.
Chris Cohen, correct. Yeah.
Yes.
2 more. You've got 9 to pick at.
See, I'm talking
10 to pick at. I apologise. Yeah, 10.
Was he? No, it wasn't. That was the Ipswich. Was he back then? Hang on, wait. Did we have Matty Cash then?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had Matty Cash playing then. Yeah, we've been
One
in
more.
his right winger days.
1 more to win the game. This is it. Sudden death. Get it right, you won. Get it wrong, Lee takes the spoils.
I'm really torn on this one because I don't know if you're still injured or not.
Okay.
But I'll go with it anyway. Did Britt play up front?
He did, yeah.
Yes.
Correct. So you've won it. So any other guesses, Lee, from you? So you've got another 8 players.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the kit. I'd have probably been tempted to say Velios.
No.
So there you go. I'm probably wise to do it. I think I lost anyway. Vaughan?
No.
No, he'd have been injured,
not in the
wouldn't he?
squad. So the other 8, so you got Joe Worrell started. Hildeberto started.
Hildeberto played.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that. Armand Traore started.
Was that Armand Traore, did you say?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he started. And then the 5 subs you didn't get is Dimitar Evtimov, the keeper. As mentioned earlier, Thomas Lamb. Derby's Ben Brereton, before he was Ben Brereton Diaz. Ross McCormack was on the bench. And one who probably go down into the Hall of Fame for Forest, Aaron Chispola. So they were the others. So well done to Christian. So we'll do another one of them, I feel, when we play FC Utrecht away, because I like them. They are good. But just to quickly wrap it up then, done the quiz. So I've just got a question for you both. So I will go for you this one, Lee. AFCON comes around next month, starts on the 23rd of December. I think Nigeria kick it off. Willie Bolly's not really a worry if he goes because he's not playing. Tyro's probably not going to get called up, is he? I can't imagine he would do. We will lose Sangare, which would be a real shame because he's starting to come into his element, isn't he? I mean, I think he's been all right all season, personally, pretty much. His first game is against the mighty Mozambique for Côte d'Ivoire on Christmas Eve. So I'd imagine he would go after the Tottenham game on the 14th because I can't see him being around for the Fulham on the 22nd. So my question is really going to be on Ola Aina. So he's back in training, it looks like. Nigeria start their campaign on the 23rd of December, as I've said. He cannot play for us until February, I believe, because that's when the squad registration changes. So it's after the transfer when they're into it in January, I believe.
Unless he plays in the FA Cup, I guess.
Apart from the FA Cup, yeah. So my question to you, Lee, is with him not being able to play for us aside from the FA Cup, would you let him go to AFCON if he is fit, or would you want him to stay at Forest?
It's difficult because we've said it before. I mean, we can sit as fans who have never represented their country at anything and say he should do this and he shouldn't do that. But if you get the call from your country, you're not going to say no, because purely because the manager or the federation, whatever it is going to look at it and say, well, fine, we'll bear that in mind next time when it comes to making a squad. And it's not like he plays for a nation that's, where he's a guaranteed, Nigeria have got some talent in this squad. So he'll see it that, okay, he's playing for a team that, he'd fancy himself to get in the team. But
yeah, I think he will be.
But he's not. I think, like I say, what I think he should do and what I think he will do are probably two different things, because we have this discussion.
What would you like to happen personally? Because that's what I'm saying.
I'd rather he stayed injured to the point where the squad's picked and he stays with us. But I think if behind the scenes there's a discussion that we'd like him to join up with the squad and we'll make the decision, then if he wants to go, we're kind of powerless in that sense, aren't we? So I think if he's injured enough and he's not fit to play, then Forest should be putting the foot down and saying, no, he's not fit to play, we're not letting him go. But at the same time, if he's in training, he probably is going to be fit enough. So I think he'll go. I can't see a situation where he doesn't go, to be fair.
What I'm saying is, though, is because, like I said, he can't play in the Prem, he can play in the FA Cup, like Christian said. Would you kind of be a bit more encourage him to go so he actually gets some games under his belt? Do you understand what I mean? To get up to that match fitness?
Maybe. Again, with his injury history, I'm not sure that's the wisest thing to do, because he always seems to be on international duty where the pitches are a little bit harder and the conditions aren't quite as good, that he gets the injuries. So, again, I think he'll go. But yeah, like I say, it probably would be good for. If we could guarantee that he gets through the games unscathed, then it probably would be good for us. But obviously, there's no guarantee of that, is there? So, yeah, I think he'll go, and it's just a waiting game, I suppose, to see what condition he comes back in, I guess.
I'm guessing it's in Morocco. Well, it is in Morocco because they start first. So at least it's like Northern Africa rather than going to the depths of Southern Africa. My question to you, Christian, I mean, have you got anything to add on that before we move on to your question?
No, I completely share Lee's caution and reserve. However, you do make a valid point. If he's only going to play in the FA Cup, it might almost be more beneficial for him to go to the AFCON. The only thing is, you'd expect Nigeria to go quite deep, and obviously you then risk the question. It's a lot of unknowings about, isn't it? Because obviously if he gets injured again, it's like, right, okay, we got one right there, didn't we? Yeah. So, or at least get one on loan, depending on how injured he is for the rest of the season. But yeah, it's obviously the good news is he seems to be back ahead of its schedule. Obviously he's not really testing it too much, just doing general training. So you have some sort of base level of fitness and whatever else. It can work out quite well. Go to Nigeria, go avenge the other AFCON a few years ago where he lost in the final.
When Taro gave Bolly concussion on his way back, whacking him around the head when he come back. Yeah, the interesting thing is as well, because obviously it is a tournament, games do come thick and fast. Nigeria's 3 group games are all in a week. So the first one's on the 23rd of December against Tanzania. 27th, then got Tunisia, and then on the 30th, they've got the mighty Uganda. So you'd imagine they get through that group, wouldn't you, really?
You'd like to hope so, yeah. Then again, look at a World Cup qualification.
Yeah.
So
well, to DR Congo, didn't they? Right. So, and then finally, just to wrap it up, I don't want to sound a bit disparaging, but I actually think he does get a lot of credit with Forest fans. But nationally, Nico Williams never seems to get any mention at all, doesn't he? For say how consistent he is as a left back. Just a stat here off who scored. So Nico Williams made 11 tackles versus Liverpool. No player has completed more in a single Premier League game this season. I mean, I said on the last pod, first 10 minutes, I thought Salah had his number a little bit, and then it was just another pocket mission, wasn't it? He absolutely gave it nothing. Seemed to get to grips with him very quickly, and yeah, as Mo Salah usually does against Forest, doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, I'm not saying does it annoy you, but do you think there's a bit of lack of disrespect nationally for Nico Williams. I mean, where would you rank him as kind of in the left backs in the Premier League?
Oh, he's easy top 5 in the league, left backs, I'd say. Easy top 5. Again, his development has been absolutely staggering from that position. He's come on leaps and bounds since he first started. Again, obviously we aren't going to rewrite history. I was one of his biggest critics in his first season, and ultimately there was a reason why he was 4th choice right back within a year after signing. But he's never kicked up a fuss. He's never asked to leave. There's been chances for him to go. Obviously, Leeds were very interested in him at one point, taking him on loan.
Feyenoord, and then Atalanta bid for him.
Atalanta, yeah. So there's always been options there, but he's always got his head down. He's had a fierce desire to make it work, and he has done. I think, like you said, he's very physical, isn't it? Like, I mean, but for that absolute disastrous American goalkeeper who we won't name, Salah would have blanked against us in all these Premier League games he played against us, which is insane, really. But I remember even when we beat them 1-0 in that crazy game where Tyro scored, Williams played left back that day and pocketed Salah. So he's very much seems very comfortable out there. He's very good out there. I know obviously he's a right-footed player rather than the left. That's fine. I think when a player is that good, you look past that really, and how consistent he's been, how strong he's been in that position. Yeah, I do think there is a bit of disrespect. I think what made me laugh was when that was Match Today put is Joe Rodon the best performing Welsh player in the Premier League? I was like, does Williams be playing golf all season or something? Like, it's absolutely ludicrous. The blokes that go down this season. So I do find it a little bit strange. It's almost like I think we're almost at a point now with Williams as well where we're getting very used to him being minimum 7 out of 10 every week. So when he eventually does, because he's human, when he eventually does make a mistake or have a below par performance, we're going to be like, oh my God, like, what's wrong with Nico? Is he all right? Like, what's gone on? Just because that's the bar he set consistency-wise. But yeah, I do think there definitely is. I think as well, like, I mean, even now, I was a massive fan of Anthony Robinson and Kirkos last season. They're the only two I'd say would probably be above Williams potentially last year. This year, obviously,
Kirkos is nowhere near, is he?
Yeah, Kirkos is nowhere near the levels now, and Robinson's not been played. So you look at like who's maybe better. Calafiori, I don't think is as strong defensively as Williams.
City's got O'Reilly, aren't they, playing there?
Yeah, O'Reilly's a decent player as
well. Cucurella?
Well.
You say he's better than Nico?
Yeah, I rate Cucurella. Will I have him if Williams at 4? Again, they offer very different things. I think from what we do, he's like a better Zinchenko Cucurella in terms of how he roams in field. But I don't know. I do think there is an element of he's sort of. I think it's kind of a nationwide thing, though. I think generally speaking, British players, not so much English players, but British players, Scottish, Welsh, Northern, they kind of get sort of dismissed because their actual playing nations aren't that good.
Like McTominay, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Case in point. Yeah, even McGinn. When Villa said to Man United, "Yeah, we want 50 million for him," because that's his value to the club, but everyone sort of scoffed at it and sort of went, "There's no way."
Good player, John McGinn. Very good player.
Yeah, exactly. It was just sort of dismissed very quickly. I think maybe there's an element of that because I think if Williams was English, he probably would be in the media would have moved him for us at this point. So, yeah, but incredible player at this moment in time.
Yeah, I'm just looking down the list, and yeah, I guess Lewis Hall could be in for a shot when he's fit, but he's not played much. So I'm gonna end the pod on a controversial one. Better than Jed Spence?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it at that now.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. So, hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for listening / watching. However you get your podcast nowadays. We will be Adam's doing a preview with a Malmo fan who I'll give you a little snippet. It says it's damage limitation for them, so that's the kind of team we're up against.
Listen, don't take that as gospel. I spoke to a Midtjylland, a journalist, and he said they were coming here expecting to get thrashed.
Tax, we'll not get Ange anymore.
I suppose so.
But, obviously, Friday morning we'll do a Malmo review because are you at the game, Christian, on Thursday?
Oh, we're there Thursday. Yeah,
we're all there on Thursday. It's Adam's first Europa game for him. So we'll be back Friday morning. We'll probably then doing a pod Sunday night to recap the game against Brighton on Sunday afternoon at 2:05 for some reason. But until then, thanks for listening again and watching, and come on, you Reds.